What's up YouTube, Darren here from Zephyr Games, bringing you an updated Altergeist deck profile. Now, after the ban list, Altergeist probably then became the forerunner of the meta. Purely because the only thing that was holding it back or stopping it being very, very powerful was the fact that Masterpiece was floating around and could be made trap immune and monster immune, which means that Altergeist didn't really ever have a way to get around it during the first game or so. So now it's going to be very, very interesting to see what Altergeist can now do in the meta. But of course, we still have Gokis running around. They have got a lot more powerful with Nightmares. We've also got Spirals of Nightmares, and then of course this week we do have Brandish or Sky Blasters coming out. So it will be very interesting to see how the meta shapes up from here on. Without further ado, I'm going to show you the profile and explain what we've got, why we've got it. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit for you guys. And we've got, starting off with free multi-faker, no questions asked. This is the card that has taken this deck from mediocre to powerful. The fact that it goes on a separate chain after resolution means you can special summon it after you've activated something like Solemn Strike. And then of course it lets you bring out another Altergeist monster from your deck, which if you're going aggressive can go for your melee seek. If it's going defensive it can go for your Siliquus, and of course Siliquus is then a Kieran and it gets to bounce multi-figure back to your hand, and you kind of just loop him around and around. And then you've got triple Marionetta. This is your Ash kind of avoider basically, so when it's normal summoned you set an Altergeist trap directly from your deck to your graveyard. And then of course you can target one Altergeist card you control and one Altergeist monster in your graveyard. Send that card on the field to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon the other monster, so it lets you cycle round your monsters. And multi-faker is only when it's special summoned, so if you've got a Marionetta on board, you knock off one of your other Altergeist monsters, or of course I believe you can send itself, target one Altergeist card you control, so you can send itself, bring out Multi-faker can then bring out a Siliquus or of course a Maleseek. And of course we play 3 Mr. Maleseeks. Now obviously it's not called Mr. Maleseeks, we call it Mr. Meeseeks, obviously from Rick and Morty. For those of you who haven't watched it, go do so. This card is very, very powerful as well. It attacks directly, and when it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you target one card your opponent controls and sends it to the graveyard. Then if this card is sent to the graveyard, you add an Altergeist monster from your deck to your hand. Now what you got to remember as well, again, about multi-faker is once you special summon it, you can only special summon Altergeist for the turn, but 9 out of 10 is special summoned during your opponent's turn. Maleseeks, you can only use the effect once per turn. Half these are pretty much hard once per turns. Now, the biggest difference we've got between us and American TCG is they have Link Karibo. So the whole idea is one of your mediocre opening hands is opening up with this without a Marionetta. You normal summon this, sack this off for Link Karibo, move your plays further forward that way, and then you get your Search of Multi-Faker. Whereas we do have to play Clara and Ruskia, which, you know, is a bit of an underwhelming card. So when we get to that, I'll show you that. However, when I played it at my locals this weekend, unfortunately Clara and Ruskia actually put in a huge amount of work. Then we've got for our final Altergeist 2 Silquoitus. This card is a brick. You do not want to open this. Ideally you don't want to ever normal summon it either, because you've got to normal summon it. You return, target one card, return one Altergeist card, which is nice because it lets you recycle your traps. To the hand, then target one card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. That's during your player's turn. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you target one Altergeist trapped in your graveyard and add that to your hand. Again, hard once per turn. This is kind of your go-to special summon off of Marionetta. We've then got the hand trap lineup of 3 Ash and double Ogre. This can be any kind of ratio you want or any type of hand traps you want. If you're playing the Reaper version, then of course you would probably take out the Ogres or one of the Ashes and go 2-2-2. It really depends on how dependent you want to be on that kind of engine. It's still very, very useful, but until the meta defines itself, Reaper is not really the out and out. I mean, when Brandish come out, you know exactly what you want to hit, and you can kind of move it that way. For the spells, we only play 4 spells, and that is triple Pot of Duality, because 9 times out of 10 you're not special summoning during your turn. You can cut this down to 2 if you want, and then the 1 Spellbook of Knowledge. Now, I'm not 100% set on Spellbook of Knowledge. It's good when you're getting rid of your Maleseek, or if you're getting rid of your Marionetta, once they've done their jobs. But I don't know. I just don't know. I probably need to test it out a little bit more. The other spell the only other spell you can consider is Pot of Desires. But then if you banish your Siliquuses, you're in a bit of a tight spot. So the 4 spells are up for kind of questions. Obviously, your side deck contain more spells to deal with more back row and stuff like that, but for now, that's the only 4 spells you play. We then have a good chunk of traps. This is probably about 50% of the deck, because that is just how the Altergeist operate. So we have triple Altergeist Protocol. This is awesome. It's your monster negator, and then it also means your effect of Altergeist cards. And the best thing is it's Altergeist cards, so even your traps can't be negated. And then if they activate a monster effect, send one other face-up Altergeist card you control to the graveyard and negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. So beautifully gets around hand traps as well. Double manifestation. This is kind of like your Call of the Haunted. You target an Altergeist monster in the graveyard, special on it in a tap position. Equip it with this card. When this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. Banish this card from the graveyard, target an Altergeist trap in your graveyard, and add it to your hand. And then we've got 2 personal spoofing. Now I don't know. I'm considering bumping spoofing up one. Spoofing, unfortunately, isn't an Altergeist card, so it's not searchable by anything. And you basically shuffle one other Altergeist card from your hand or face up from your field into the main deck and add one Altergeist monster from your deck. So it lets you kind of recycle your dead cards, so you can recycle your, if you open up 2 protocols, you can recycle those. If you open up, you know, like your Seal Quisses, you can put them back into the deck as well. So it is very, very useful, but it can be very, very slow as well, which is why you're only playing 2. And then probably one of the best trap cards in the deck right now is free Infinite Impermanence. Now this is very, very kind of difficult because it is very expensive right now, but it's the fact that you can use it during your opponent's turn. So if you do go second, you can activate this and get a Marionetta on board, and then use your Marionetta to get you a Silquist. So this is actually very, very powerful. The fact that it then shuts down a line as well if it's on the field, or just generally negates a monster effect, is always very, very helpful. So yeah, Impermanence can be very, very good. We've then got 2 Torrential Tribute. This can actually, again, be very, very good because you reset your board and then bring out your multi-faker. So it's good earlier game. You don't really want to be seeing it too late a game, because then, you know, ideally you would have already have built up your board. If not, it can then reset the board state. So like I said, if it is late game, you set this and your opponent tries to overextend, you go TT, nuke their board, bring out a Marionetta, and move your plays further forward that way. 2 anti-spell, because like you saw, we've got a lack of spells in this deck. It may come out because it's not as hugely relevant right now, but it can slow down your Gokis if you get to go off first with this. It can also slow down your Dracos while they're still around for a little bit, and then it can also slow down any kind of pendulum decks, as long as along with Imperial Order as well, because your opponent's going to want to try and deal with your back row, so Imperial Order can be very, very useful. We then play the Solemn Brigade of triple strikes, 1 warning and 1 judgment, because you can get Marionetta off of these because it goes on a separate chain. Now, obviously, I haven't got a side deck, or I have got a side deck, but it all changes depending on what tournament you're at. You're looking at stuff like Red Reboot, Cosmic Cyclones, Regekis, all kind of bits like that. So now let me take you through the extra deck. It is all Link monsters, which is obviously nice. We've got triple Hextia. This is the main card you'll go into. So it's 2 Altergeist monster, gains attack equal to the original attack of each Altergeist monster it points to. When a spell or trap card is activated, quick effect, you tribute 1 Altergeist monster this card points to. Negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you add an Altergeist card from your deck to your hand. Again, it is a hard once per turn. I like to play the 1 Altergeist Prime Banshee. You don't have to play this. It's just something that I'm trying out to see how useful it is. So during your main phase, quick effect, you treat 1 other Altergeist monster, special summon it. Special summon 1 Altergeist monster from your deck to your monster zone this card points to. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you target an Altergeist card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So 9 times out of 10, you'll probably end up going into more multi-Hextias than you are going into a Prime Banshee, but there has been like the 1 or 2 times where I'm like, ah, damn, I wish I had a Banshee to go into. So that's why I've kept it in there. Our other level 3 is Topologic Trispania. This kind of deals with, again, pendulums, magicians, and anything that has a lot of back row. Even in the mirror, this can be very, very powerful if you don't have a lot of back row. If you don't want to play Prime Banshee, you can put in a Deco Talker as well. Then got the 1 Borrowload Dragon, again, probably because it only requires 3 technically 3+ effect monsters. It could be very, very powerful and easier to make than Saruja at full power. Other than that, if you don't want to play either of those, you can again put in a Saruja. We then play the Nightmare engine of Griffin, Unicorn, Goblin, Phoenix, and Cerberus. Now, these aren't that necessary. More Cerberus than Phoenix than the rest, because when you're flooding your board, unless you specifically want to deal with a spell or a trap, and you haven't got anything to add to Hextia, you'll be going into Hextia. Goblin's just there for the additional normal sum, because sometimes you've got 2 Marionettas, that can always be quite good, but obviously you're only going to get one of their effects. So again, this engine is down to personal preference. You don't have to play it. If you play a Scapegoat engine, you can probably drop this down quite a bit. Play stuff like Link Spiders and help you move your plays forward from that. And again, if you're playing the Reaper, you can take some of these out for Reaper targets as well. We've then got the Clara and Riskier. This is just to get rid of your melee seats in your main phase 2. And then give you that extra search, and then protect it during the next turn, or link it off if you have to. Now, depressingly, you can't make this during your first turn, but until we get Link Karibo, this is the best we've got to deal with right now. You got the one Underclock Taker, because if they ever give you stuff like a Ibly, you can get rid of Ibly with an Underclock Taker. You can, of course, play Mermaid, just to get rid of the Ibly if you want to. But, you know, I think Underclock Taker is more reasonable in this. And then we've got the Proxy Dragon, and of course the last card is the Akatic Magician, because if you side in Kaijus, you can Kaiju your opponent, bounce the Kaiju, and then Kaiju another one of their monsters if it's ever going to be an issue. On top of that, all of your Altergeist are spellcasters, so it's very, very helpful and useful and powerful in that sense. And then it can be a nice little stepping stone to link up, as well as getting rid of your Altergeist to then get the additional search. Anyway, that is it for the deck profile. Hopefully we'll start seeing Altergeist, you know, under this new ban list. The more kind of events that happen, the more Altergeist we'll see, and hopefully they'll give Brandish a run for the money when Brandish do officially come out towards the end of this week. I will be bringing you profiles of the Vampires, these Fur Hides, and of course the Brandish Sky Strikers, and of course the box opening later this week. We are hunting for those short prints, of course. Those crazy, crazy short prints are expected to be like 3 and 7 boxes, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But for now, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and as always, guys, happy dueling. Also, YouTube, thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button, and of course, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button in the bottom left-hand corner and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We've got more deck profiles, duels, pack openings, and many more Yu-Gi-Oh videos coming up for you all year round. So don't forget to stay tuned for all of that. Thanks, and as always, guys, happy dueling.